Firstly, with an easy base, maybe shoulder width apart or a little less. I'm just going to do some lateral bends at the spine, at the low back. Just going to feel that. You might think of these even as sliding your hand down, using your back, bending sideways to slide your hand down the side of your leg. Again, feel any resistances. And we can do that half a dozen times or more. If you've got a lot of resistance in there, do more. Just feel a little more. But don't tire yourself out. A little bit more muscle activity going to happen, will need to happen because you're in standing to keep your balance, etc. We need to keep a sense of that, all of that, we're keeping that easy. So now, in doing this, I'm going to particularly and purposefully bend my ear over as I'm bending my whole spine. And I'm going to bring it all up and bending my ear over as I'm bending everything down. And do this as a smooth thing, so it's not like bend the ear over and then bend the back. It's all going smoothly together, so by the time I'm down here, my back and my neck have finally reached a resistance. And whatever reaches resistance, that's where I'm going to stop. Particularly for me, I'm going to have some awareness on my thoracic spine. Can I actually feel it move? What can I feel moving? There's a whole range of possibilities now to add, and you might find some new ones for yourself, so please explore your own body. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my head deliberately behind, in a sense, so it stays looking straight ahead as I'm going down one side. Same thing. I'm going to stop at the resistance. There might be a difference in how that all is now. What activates? There are two types of movement that I notice possible here. I can actually stick my hip to one side while I'm bending down, and I have a natural tendency to do that. So I'm going to just resist the natural tendency at the moment and just have that a sideways movement. Again, there are some interesting, there's even a little glitch when I go to the left when I do that, just in there. I'm going to just work with where that glitch is for a bit. But I realized I was just running through the glitch in a kind of an unaware fashion. So I can bring that back in. It's interesting, that little glitch there. Something doesn't move actually below. I think it's actually below that glitch. I'm feeling more now, yes. And as I keep just going to where the glitch occurs, I can feel the move, that bit of twinge move to a lower area. Okay. So there is the other type of form of that, which is I can actually put my hip to one side. You do this in isolation, and again, I'm noticing a little twinge on my left when I get to there, so I'm going to go fully to my left, but only kind of like halfway to my right. I could push through that. I have a sense that I could push through that in some way. I'd like to honour my body and those joints by just having a feel of what's resistant there. So I don't make other joints just take over and, yay for them, they've got the capacity. I want to see if I can bring out the capacity back in that one that feels a little stiff and sticky and generates a little twingy pain. So I've moved on to a movement which is kind of the hip going out, but then I'm bending over it to the side. And again, there's some sense that there's a little resistance happening. Stretching resistances will happen on the opening up side of the body. Impingement resistances will happen on the closing down side of the body. Now I've been doing this as in going over the pushed hip and back up to straight or neutral, but we can also do that. We're going to come right back over again as well. I'm keeping the head in sync, but I could keep the head the other way as well. And that's a little bit of interesting isolation training that you're starting to do if you're doing it this way. We'll go the other way. Sync a few times, maybe 6 times or so. And then against. It's good when we do those in the other way. We find sometimes, that in my mind might have been a better movement. Maybe in your mind that might have been a movement you did somehow when you were a child. You have a motor memory of it of some sort. You get surprised when it doesn't really work like that anymore. Okay. Now, the next couple of little things I'm going to do are really to do with spinal cord nervous system and the long peripheral nerves as they come out and go down the limbs. I do this one because I've got a long history of tension in that nervous system, especially where it comes to the legs. So there's probably some, and I suspect it's actually some tightnesses or tethering in the dural aspect of my spinal column, and that might be associated with some of the congenital defects, which also generates some postural stiffnesses or tendencies that also enhance that tension on the nervous system. So one of the little things I like to do is just to balance a little bit on one leg, a little bend in that. You'll see I'll get my knee over my foot here a little, just balance on that. I'll put the other foot out like here, with the toes up. That creates a mild neural tension effect. Well, for a lot of people there would be no real tension there in this situation. And then I'm going to just do a curl down, as if I'm going to reach my knee What I'm aware of doing is just collapsing at my waist and letting my spine bend. When I feel a bit of pulling, tugging through the back of my leg, I'll stop there and come right back up. And as we've been doing so far, I'll do that maybe half a dozen or 10 times. You might try this, and if your nervous system is quite free, you'll probably get a long way until maybe your hamstrings will be tight. Because this is nerves being tensioned, anyone with this sort of issue needs to be particularly gentle. You're not going to do yourselves any favours by stretching harshly on your nerves, like your sciatic nerve. But you can see just by doing that a few times, there's a little release. Some of that release is just going to be where muscles are releasing, letting the spinal joints move a lot freer. And that helps to take some of the tension out of that system. I will do it to the other side as well. My situation, it's kind of a bilateral thing. That's what leads me to believe it's in the dural wrapping of the spinal column at some level. This hasn't changed an awful lot for probably 30 years. Well, thank you. And that's all for today.